After an absolute classic and no doubt about it, the biggest win of his career so far, the rookie had pinned the future Hall of Famer Kurt Angle on his return to Impact for one night only. And now with Angle sent packing, this Inferno was hotter than ever, leading Dixie Carter to create a gauntlet match between some of the brightest in TNA, and the winner would face Eddie Edwards at Lockdown for the X Division Championship. And you know where this is going. Inferno would continue his momentum and outlast the gauntlet, which meant that he would get his date with Destiny at the Lockdown pay-per-view. However, I've told you before and I'll tell you again, this story I'm telling you isn't one of all highs and no lows. It's a story of love and loss, a tale of hardships and heartbreak. And so before we go back down to reality, let's take a brief stop at TNA Lockdown 2016 for a moment that many refer to as the night Inferno truly arrived in Impact Wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the MyCAREER Universe prequel in WWE 2K. This is episode 6 and we are here at TNA Lockdown 2016, where that man right there has earned his opportunity. He has his date with Destiny because Dante Inferno will take on Eddie Edwards next for the X Division Championship. And what a month it has been in this young 21-year-old's career. I mean, going from beating Kurt Angle on his one-night only return to Impact to outlasting everyone in that gauntlet match to get himself that #1 contendership. And now he's here at Lockdown here in 2016, about to take on Eddie Edwards, which could really change the landscape of the future of Impact Wrestling if this young Inferno can go ahead and pick up the X Division Championship here tonight. But I guess we'll wait and see. And of course, there he is, the man himself, Eddie Edwards, the X Division Champion. A man who has way more experience than Inferno, and you've got to imagine that that experience is going to come very helpful in this championship match. I mean, he's faced way more tougher competitors in his championship reign, but perhaps none as resilient as the young Inferno. And of course, you've got the man from the flames beneath the surface, weighing in about 218 pounds, Dante Inferno, looking to pick up his first championship here in Impact Wrestling. But if that man right there has anything to say about it, it is not gonna happen. Straight out of Boston, Eddie Edwards, the X Division Champion. And now here we go, the referee rings the bell. Inferno against Edwards here at Lockdown for the X Division Championship, and Eddie Edwards wasting no time in teaching this young kid a thing or two about being a champion, because Eddie Edwards isn't playing no games, but neither is Inferno. This young kid going for the enziguri doesn't quite connect with it. Eddie Edwards using his exhaustion to duck underneath, and now delivering a back suplex to Inferno. A hot start indeed to this championship matchup. Now here we go again, but no, a counter there by Inferno, a man who has now been in the ring with the likes of the TNA World Champion Bobby Lashley and the Hall of Famer Kurt Angle, or I should say a future TNA Hall of Famer in Kurt Angle. And there's a big forearm there by Dante Inferno in the corner, but nevertheless, the point is, Inferno has been in the ring with some of the best of them. I mean, you look at the tutorage, or you know, the learning he got under Booker T as well back in Reality of Wrestling a couple of years ago to start off his career. He certainly has a who's who that has taught him a thing or two about this business so far. The question is, what can he pick up from Eddie Edwards' esteemed career? We'll find out tonight. Honestly, he may not pick up anything from Eddie Edwards if this continues. Look at this in the skies right now, where Eddie Edwards and Dante Fenro precarious possession. Oh my goodness me, the Falcon's arrow from the top rope. Jesus Christ, look at that. Into the cover on Inferno, and no, he kicks out at 2.5. That was an incredible move. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Eddie Edwards pulling out everything. And now Eddie Edwards with the Irish whip to the corner here on Dante Inferno, but no, it's a counter again by Dante Inferno. And now Inferno, hang on a second here. Look at this, the sunset flip powerbomb to Eddie Edwards. And now, oh, nice counter there by Edwards, blocking the Woo Chop strike. And now Edwards with the snapmare. Eddie Edwards, of course, one of the best Impact has today, straight out of Boston, Mass. And there's a big close, I know, by Dante Inferno, of course, from the flames beneath the surface, aka Los Angeles, California. It's almost like we got a bit of a Celtics-Lakers matchup right now between these two competitors. Big stunner there from Eddie Edwards. And hang on a second now, Eddie Edwards low. He went for that single leg knee strike that we've seen him put many a men away, with the running in from the corner to go for Inferno with that single leg knee strike, but Inferno getting out of dodge, and now Eddie Edwards looking to be as precise as they come with that single leg knee strike, looking to put away Dante Inferno in this X Division Championship match, but Inferno will not go down without a fight. We saw it against Angle, Lashley, and everyone else in between. He does not know the meaning of the word quit, and that is what the Impact fans are beginning to love about this young kid. But no, Eddie Edwards with the chop to the ears right there, and now Edwards here, oh my god, a back suplex, dropping him like a dime, and now the Irish whip here by Eddie Edwards, no, countered by Dante Inferno, rolling him through right there, and now Inferno, oh hang on a second, the Inferno overdrive, that Inferno overdrive is exactly what helped him beat Kurt Angle, and it's about to help him win the X Division Championship. No, a kick out by Eddie Edwards, unreal. We talked about the comparison between the Celtics versus the Lakers here in Edwards versus Inferno. Right now Edwards, he just pulled up a fourth quarter three right there, a buzzer beater to send it to OT because he is not done yet. But now there is Inferno looking to embody Kobe Bryant in this one, and there's the big German suplex by the Celtics supporting Eddie Edwards. My god, this is back and forth between these two men. The German, the counter, the float over by Inferno. Here we go, a kick to the gut, incredible. Oh, hang on a second, look at this now, the single leg Boston Crab by Eddie Edwards. He's tapped many a men out with that before to retain the X Division Championship, but no, it's another counter by Inferno, managing to get out of it. That resilience is paying off, that resilience is showing. The woo chop, another woo chop, sending Edwards into Painville, but no, another counter by Edwards, that massive clobbering blow. It is getting about personal, it is turning into a slobber knocker between these two men. Oh, drop toe, and look at this again, Inferno getting out of the hole. I talked about how he's trying to embody Kobe Bryant in this one, of course, the man who retired earlier this year in the NBA, and now hang on a second, he might not be able to do that if Eddie Edwards has anything to say about it. What are we about to see here? Oh my goodness, looking for that stunner again, and now Edwards here into the cover on Dante Fenro is about to retain the championship. No, another kick out by Inferno. Now here we go. Oh, Eddie was going for another stunner right there, I think, but it was another counter by Inferno. We are getting down to the nitty gritty now. Russian leg sweep in this matchup by Inferno, and now Inferno, what is he thinking here? Looking to put this one away. No, another counter by Eddie Edwards, the man who has much more experience, as I said earlier on, and Edwards now Irish whip to the corner here, and a massive clobbering blow to follow up as well into another snapmare as Eddie Edwards slows down the pace, slowing down the momentum, and that's just experience right there, nothing less, nothing more. And whenever someone in a wrestling match like Dante Fenro is getting momentum, you gotta slow him down with a little rest hold and say, hey, calm down buddy, you're not that guy. And now, oh, dropping him on the top rope. Maybe Inferno is that guy. He's certainly out to prove it here tonight at Lockdown, at this Lockdown pay-per-view here in Impact Wrestling. But no, another counter by Eddie Edwards, and now here we go into the corner once again. What is he thinking? Drop kick to the back. Oh, what a counter elbow. Look at the crimson mask forming on the face of Eddie Edwards right there. That elbow caught him on the top of the head, and again Inferno has seen his target and he is going to go after it. But Eddie Edwards is about as tough, one of the toughest bastards in Impact Wrestling that we've ever seen, and he will not go down at the sight of a little bit of blood, at the sight of a pint of blood. And now Inferno again going back and forth, these two men are. Look at this again. I talked about the momentum of how Eddie Edwards is trying to slow down Dante Inferno in this one. He knows, he scouted the tape, he gets it, he knows what kind of competitor Dante Inferno is, but perhaps he didn't expect that. The counter to the suplex, the neck breaker, and now Inferno picking up Eddie Edwards here with the down to hell, the down to hell by Inferno from out of freaking nowhere, and he may just turn the tide of this one. Down to hell again to Eddie Edwards, the down to hell again to Eddie Edwards into the cover, and Inferno is X Division champion. Inferno had done it. He was X Division champion, the first title of his entire career, and he would hold it for about 5 months, battling some of Impact's finest: Edwards, Senshi, Lethal, Shelley, Uno, Lee, Spud, banger after banger, night after night. You could almost hear the crowd screaming, "Fight, Inferno, fight!" On fire, and people will come for miles to watch you burn it. For years men will come and go, fires will be lit, and many fires will be extinguished. But unfortunately, be that as it may, it's clear that the wear and tear a championship reign puts on your body night after night was catching up to this young 21-year-old kid mentally and physically. In a no-holds-barred match on a house show with Eddie Edwards for the X Division Championship, after an awkward landing off a sunset flip powerbomb, Inferno had injured his knee, but of course, being the resilient bastard he always has been, Inferno finished the match and limped to the back in agonizing pain, not quite understanding the severity of the situation, that is, until the doctors diagnosed his injury at just 21 years old. Dante Inferno had torn his ACL, leading to one of the most heart-wrenching segments in Impact history.